What is up, everyone? It's your boy 9-7 and 8-7 on the track. Welcome to episode 14 of the CBK Podcast. Good to see you all. Do we have a guest?
We have a special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself to the audience, buddy?
I don't even know the audience.
You don't even know the audience?
I don't even know them.
Who's the audience?
Oh,
just the people you see on the screen. We're speaking thousands and hundreds and tens of family members will see this.
In fairness, it's not even tens of family members. It's a loyal few. Cole's family. I don't even think our mom listens, Jason, so I think it's just our dad at this point. Our sister did reach out. Emma, shout out Emma 4.
Yeah, she commented in one of them.
She's a loyal.
Listen. Yeah, she's loyal. So, hey, JJ, can you hop on your dad's lap for a second?
Come here.
I got some questions for you.
Come here.
All right. JJ, let's pretend your name is Brent Brennan, okay? What's your name?
Put your hands
Brennan.
Okay, so your name is Brent Brennan. Let me ask you this question, JJ. As the head coach of the Arizona football team, what is the most important thing to do?
Coach.
Say it louder. You're good. Just talk.
Coach.
So
Yes.
the most thing to do is to coach. Okay. How important is having fun to you while playing and coaching football, JJ?
Telling the players what to do.
But telling the players what to do is part of coaching. I agree. Is it important that they have fun, though? Yeah. Okay. So fun.
Do you think winning is fun, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you think winning is fun?
Super fun.
Super fun.
Super fun. I agree. This offseason, Coach Brennan, I'm talking to you right now. This offseason, what are you going to do to make the players better?
Talk to them and say, tell them what to do.
So you're going to tell them what to do. Okay.
He's going to talk to him and tell him what to do.
Tell them what to do. Okay. JJ, what if, though, Coach Brennan. Sorry.
Yeah,
Coach Brennan,
Coach
if
Brennan.
you don't have enough players to field a team, how do you address that situation?
Get more players.
We're going to get more players. Genius.
You're crushing this, dude.
You're absolutely crushing this.
Yeah.
Any questions?
What would be your way to get more players? Because players could go play at a lot of different schools. What would you tell them is the reason why they need to come to Arizona?
We say all the players say we need more players.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you're using the players to recruit for you. That's actually a really good idea. That's how you get good talent, right? What if you have no players to begin with?
Right.
What does that mean?
It means you got no one to help you recruit. You got no one out there to tell the other players to come play at Arizona. What do we do? Do we pay them? Do we got to give them a lot of money?
No, we'll tell the other people that will tell the other coaches that to get more players.
So
Yeah.
there's players and coaches and other players involved, and they're all going to talk, and then that's going to get more players.
Communication.
Do you need to get? How important is developing the players to you? Like, you know how me and you go practice? What it's to get better, right? Do you think what would you do at practices at a football practice to make people better at football?
I would do the same thing I told them at the start.
And I think what you told them at the start was, quote, you're going to love every minute of it. Is that true, Coach Brennan?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. So they're going to love every minute of it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell them at the start, you're going to love every minute of it. And then when you're coaching them, you're going to then tell them again that they are currently loving every minute of it. Is that right, Coach Brent?
Yeah. What's your favorite Dick Tomey quote?
What?
Would you consider Dick Tomey a mentor in your development as a coach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say he's like, you think about him every day? Yeah.
Would you, if someone wanted to hit your coach Tomey in the face, would you step in front of them so they hit you instead? Yeah. So you would.
That's how much you
You
love
would
it.
sacrifice everything for Coach Tomey?
Yeah.
Even though Coach Tomey is dead, do you still talk to him daily? Yeah, you do. Okay.
What do you think just because Dick Tomey's teams averaged 9 points per game, that is the ceiling mark for the 2024 Arizona Wildcats or 25? Okay. Do you want to go watch cartoons?
No, I just had my mom got me some snacks.
Oh, okay. Can you shut the door? Thanks.
Bye, bye, Coach
Bye,
Brennan.
JJ.
Bye,
Brennan.
Brennan.
Coach Brennan.
Bye,
Bye.
Coach Brennan.
Oh, he's coming right back with snacks.
Okay. So real quick, that was identical to a Brent Brennan press conference. Identical. Can't
believe you looked my 4-year-olds in the eyes over a computer and was like, so even though he's dead, now I have to have that conversation.
Oh, that's my bad. That's my bad. I was being really careful. So I almost asked him, would you take a bullet for Coach Brennan or Coach Tomey? It could have been worse, is my point.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
All right.
There was a lot of similarities, though, between a Brent Brennan interview and what we just witnessed talking to a 4-year-old. But I thought he did well. In his first acting job.
I would hire him. I'd pay him $3 million a year.
With the $10 million buyout?
Yeah. And I would let him do whatever he wants at all times. Doesn't have to fire anybody. Can lie through his teeth. I don't even think he's lying because I think he's that dumb. He doesn't know what he's doing. So we have lost 7. Cole, I know you're a CU guy. Have you been following the Arizona offseason at all?
Not much, but yeah, it's just sad and depressed. It makes me sad. I feel bad.
Do you know how many players we've lost?
A lot, except Noah because he's really loyal. That's the only thing I've noticed. But
he's leaving.
You think?
Let's talk about that. 7. If you're Noah Fafita or his dad, why do you come back to Arizona? Is there any reason you can think of as a reason why to come back?
What?
I mean,
I'm back.
Hey,
JJ.
JJ's back. He's crushing
back.
The only it gets into the conspiracy part of my brain real quick, thinking about the only reasons why he would stay. What if he wants to be a coach one day? He knows he's not going to play in the NFL, and he wants to have a legacy at a place where he can coach at. That actually is the best case scenario of why he would stay.
That's the best case scenario because we'll have a coach in 15 years that maybe will know what he's doing.
Yeah. I'm trying to be positive lately, boys. I've been trying this new thing called positivity. If I was Noah's dad, I'd tell him to leave ASAP. I would go to, if Oregon, isn't Gabriel a senior, or does he have 18 years left of?
No, he's gone.
He'd be perfect at Oregon. Doesn't
he have ties to Utah?
Yeah, his uncle's played there. His uncle.
But Utah just snagged the New Mexico quarterback out of the portal.
Dampier.
Yeah. So
I mean, Noah's better than him, if we're being honest.
Mm-hmm.
So to catch the folks up at home who haven't been following the Arizona debacle, I believe we are over 42 players in the portal, or let me clarify, 42 players total, I believe right now, are not coming back. They're either in the transfer portal, they're declaring for the NFL draft, they've medically retired, or they have no more eligibility. So that is 42 out of 85 scholarship players who played the game 2 weeks ago against the school up north. So we're on pace for over 50 at this point. I can't imagine that there aren't going to be more guys. So we've lost. So to recap, lost those 42 players. The head coach has yet to fire any staff members. All they said is that Dino Babers is not coming back. They haven't even let him go. I guess the contract just runs out. They haven't hired any defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, or special teams coordinator. So we have no new coaches, although a week ago they said they would. We've lost more than half the team. And we are – see you, Coach Brennan. Bye, buddy. So it is an absolute disaster down in Tucson. What do you guys think?
I agree.
I mean, I can't even wrap my head around what's happened. Let's rewind a little bit to just 10 days ago, a week ago. They had a all hands on deck meeting. There was quotes that came out of it, and I was trying to find the quotes, but out of the meeting with Desiree, our AD, about how there's going to be changes to, the coordinators, a lot of the staff, position coaches, strength training. Literally the only thing that has happened is Babers has been announced fired. Everyone else has stayed. And if it was to keep a position coach because of this epic recruiting class we have, we all know that's bullshit too. Like, he is so loyal to his buddies. I think we're going to end up with what's his name at DC, our rancid special teams coach. Like, what in the world? In what world? What's his name? Danny Gonzalez. What about him? Anywhere he's been makes it seem like that's the good decision. And okay, so you decide you're not going to hire this coach, or you're not going to fire him. Too much money, all that. Then you fast forward a week and you lose, I can comfortably say 25 guys already in 3 days have entered their name in the portal. They are telling you they don't believe in this guy. Like, they are you can fire Brent now. Like, if she wants to save her job, she needs to fire Brent now.
So I talked to 2-1 earlier today, and he was telling me a little bit of history about Arizona football. I didn't know this or didn't remember it. In 2001, Makovic was the coach for Arizona. There was a moment in time in the offseason, probably around this time, where about 50 players from the roster marched to the president's office of the university and demanded that they would not play for Coach Makovic again. Makovic was then fired within a week. They got a new coach. I believe his name was Mike Stoops. And so maybe 2002. And the rest is history. Mike Stoops actually had a nice little run here. What the parallels are, though, is 20 years ago, you didn't have a transfer portal. So you had to do that. You had to be like, hey, we're bonding together to go make a statement that we're not playing for this guy. Fast forward to 2024, 2025, you have the transfer portal. And all these guys are making the exact same statement, just in a different way. They can go to the transfer portal, they can go chase some more money, and they can go find a team that's actually going to compete for championships. I'm looking at Wendell Moe right now. Dude has a Tennessee offer, a Miami offer, a USC, a UCLA, a Washington. The dude is going to go play at a high-level program. He's probably going to start, and he's going to go help a team go play for the playoff. As a diehard Arizona alum who got a onesie in Arizona colors because I'm just addicted to the suck, I would be leaving if I were them too, though. There is no reason to stay. There's absolutely no reason to stay with Coach Brennan as the head coach and with that staff around him. And they're making a statement, though, Seven. You're right. They're making a statement. They're saying, we don't want to play for this guy. You made a decision to keep this guy around. I'm not doing it. Not one more year. No way.
I just, the incompetent people, the number of incompetent people in that building, in the football building, and then now in the athletic building as a whole, is wild to me, man. Wild. Like, what, our highest rated recruit was signed because Brent's like friends with his dad, or his mom, his wife is friends with his mom, or one of our highest rated recruits. Like, our recruiting class was garbage. So I think it was Lev on Twitter was like, keep in mind, this is a complete overhaul. Like, when someone was bitching about all the guys entering the portal, it's like, what there's not even enough guys. Like, you really think this guy's gonna be able to get 35? He'll be able to fill a team in the portal with garbage, but like,
yeah,
how is he gonna bring? So we're gonna get like 5 San Jose State guys. Great. We're gonna get, because we can pay more, we're gonna get like a couple bounce back, like we're gonna get like a Texas State kid, or we're gonna get like a Northwestern kid. But like, I'm just throwing out bullshit now, but like, it's gonna be horrible. But why are we okay with this? Like, no one in that building is watching what's going on and being like, yo, I think we fucked up.
Well, there was a interview with Danny Gonzalez, or whatever, the guy that's about to be on New DC. He was getting interviewed a couple weeks ago, and he said, yeah, we just got to overhaul the roster, is what he said. And the level of arrogance out of this coaching staff, we talked about it. It is insane. It is insane, the level of arrogance. They're openly saying we got to overhaul this roster. Like, what do you mean? This roster won 10 games a year before.
Yeah.
And could have played with anyone in the country at the end of the year. Anyone in the country we could have played with. I'm not saying we would beat them. Could have played with. And now you're going to come in and be like, yeah, we need to overhaul the roster. For what? To fit your scheme? Because you had guys that didn't fit your scheme? What's your scheme? Your coach is famous for going in front of the media in Tucson after every game almost and saying we don't have an identity.
Yeah.
So if you don't have an identity and your scheme is to run slow developing run plays, well, what's a new roster going to do? You're going to
the scheme is having defensive ends line up 5 yards off the ball. Because
it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no scheme. And then clearly, like they're insulting the intelligence of Arizona faithful and people that have been loyal to this program forever. And there's been a lot of pain, a lot of agony before we were even on this earth. We've experienced a fair share of it in our, short 30 years here. But you talk to us, someone who has been following like 2-1 since the 80s, like it's so much incompetence all the time. Like, we go in these cycles. I just don't know why we can't have anything nice.
You're not allowed.
I just don't. You're so arrogant. The arrogance factor, stay there for a second. Like, overhaul the roster, and then you have a guy who no one talked about is getting offers from all those schools you just mentioned that are competing, and a lot of them playing this weekend or in 2 weekends. And then the arrogance to tell someone after what we just watched in their press conference when Brent said, you're going to love it, just stick with me. Like, you got to fucking earn some stuff, brother. You got to earn some stuff. Like, you haven't done shit. I don't know what it is. It's almost like because, and I hate to say this, it's going to make people mad. The fact that he has ties to Dick Tomey, I feel like he has arrogance because of that, walking around Arizona for no reason.
It's entitled.
Like, I think he's that dumb where he is entitled because he coached as a GA for 2 years at U of A with Dick. 25, 30 years ago. And
I know it's going to work.
Yeah. Just like I jokingly Dick Tomey's teams never scored points and they just had badass defenses. Danny Gonzalez ain't going to give you a good badass defense. So if you have nothing to add from an actual coaching perspective and you just sit on the fucking sidelines with your lays on and just hang out and clap and say, let's fucking go, because you're just a cheerleader and you don't actually do anything. That's what I hated about things when people are like, oh, bad coordinators, late positions, and I'm ranting now. He didn't even do the little stuff right where, like, there was a couple of games early on in the season when we still thought we had a shot where he didn't call a timeout and make the ref review some calls that were obvious. Like those are things that like coaches do that he doesn't even know how to do. And then playing field position against ASU, like we talked about that already, but what are you talking about, bro? Like what are we doing? What are we doing? He's so incompetent with the actual side. I can't.
Well, and then it's the staff around him, right? Like Mike Luke tweeted something like there's only 2 guys in that building that actually understand what's going on right now. Basically alluding to the fact that they're all positive and thinking that we were going to actually retain this roster, that we were on the up and up, that we can really do it. It's like, I honestly feel like if you take a high school coach in any big city and make them the head coach, they'll do better than Brent Brennan's doing right now. Like I really feel that. And then to not even look at the strength and the conditioning, to double down. He's doubled down. That's the thing. Bye, Coach Brennan. It was great talking to you.
Bye, Coach.
Good luck this season. The fact that he's doubled down, so it's the entitlement, it's the arrogance, and it's the my way's going to work. He has doubled down on every single hire he's made, except for Dino Babers, who only signed a 1-year deal, so he was never going to be here around, never going to be around long. The strength and conditioning coach got all of our starters and our captains hurt because they're doing plyometrics and not doing any strength training. So now you have all these guys who are hurt. They don't want to work. They don't like the strength staff is probably why a lot of these people are going to the portal. Honestly, like the strength staff is so important. It is the people you work with and you're around most of the days. You're around them more than anybody in that building. So you need to trust them. You need to believe in them. And you need to think that they're going to help you get to the next level or help on Saturdays. And they're not doing that. And it's like, we believe in the data and the science and all this. I heard trust the science for the last 4 years, and I'm kind of over that personally. But, that's just a personal tidbit there. I don't know what is going on in Tucson, and I'm numb to it, though. I'm dead inside. I think we're going to win one game. We play Weber State next year. I don't know if we're going to win.
Dude, I was talking to 2-1 a couple weeks ago, and I was like, at this point, go fire Brent, take it on the chin, and go hire the NAU coaching staff for a third of what you're paying. They were better coached than we were this year. Yep. Like that was one of our 4 wins, boys. So like the NAU, and they hung, and they were just more connected. You could tell that they were way better coached fundamentally, and we just won because we still had talented roster at that point before everyone got hurt because of the previously mentioned strength staff. Like everything is wrong. You mentioned this a bunch, but he's pressed no good buttons. And then to come out last week or whatever it was and say, trust me, you're going to love it. And then to go here, it's like, bro, you got to start doing stuff, man. You got to start like doing good stuff. And like, he just doesn't, his view on good is like rooted in happiness and not like winning games or like happiness and fun. It's like this is Division I Power 4 football, bro. Strap up your jock.
Yeah. But I'm going to love every minute of it.
It's kind of like our first and one of our most loyal sponsors, Sears, making moments matter. Can't appreciate them enough. You need a new tree. You're a little late, but go grab one down at your local Sears. You need a new washing machine because your wife just washed a rug that didn't need to be washed and it shouldn't have been washed. Go down to Sears. If you need a TV for the big games, you will talk about the epic college football playoffs coming up. But go grab an 85-inch. 75 ain't big enough. Tell her to call me. I'll tell her you need that 85. All right. So thank you, Sears. Making moments matter. Brought to you by Brent Brennan and company, because making moments matter is exactly the type of shit that Brent Brennan would say. But with that, should we continue talking about U of A, or are we ready to?
I'm over U of A. Unless Cole wants to add something to the rants.
I mean, there's just no culture. I think that matters a lot in college football. Like he what does he bring to the table when he's not doing anything. You got to build a culture. And I think that's another reason why guys want to leave is like, what's our identity? What do we actually do here? So I don't know.
It kind of brings me, and sorry, I can't help myself. But like, you know how at the end of a good season for like a team, like Kenny Dellingham would say this, like, it's not about me, it's about the guys in that room and the brotherhood, something like that, right? Like in the culture. Like, I think we discredit when they say stuff like that, and we've heard that for years, how important the coach is to making that possible. Like you have to have an environment that fits whatever the culture of the guys you have in the room is, and not all the guys can get down with that. And I think we saw a bunch of dudes that were together as one from a year ago come back, and we see how important like the coach is. And I don't know if that makes sense, but like everyone says, oh, it's about them. It's about them. It's like,
I have a hot take.
Very important.
Have you ever seen a head coach be successful being as skinny as Brent Brennan is? You have seen fat. You have seen beer belly. You've seen jacked. You've seen short. You've seen tall. You've seen beards. You've seen mustaches. But have you ever seen surfer skinny be good as a head football coach? I can't think of it.
He doesn't even wear a hat, which I think you've mentioned before.
But his entire aura is in the word of 24 for the kids. It's so off. Like, could you imagine, to like 7, you triggered the sodomy where he's like setting the culture. Could you imagine him in a locker room? Like, he's kind of lanky, he's dangly. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, at least Jed Fish was short and he's like, I'm just kind of overweight, getting a little whatever, but I'm confident. Like, Brent Brennan has no confidence.
Nerdy coaches.
He has no swagger. He has no like physical, like endearing qualities. Like, that's important for leaders. Why are most leaders and really tall people? Brent Brennan is just, he looks like a biology teacher in 7th grade. That's what Brent Brennan looks like. Your 7th grade biology teacher. The guy that you don't listen to and you're kind of like, whatever, dude. Like, I just learned what boobs are. Like, I'm just thinking about that right now. So, like, how are you supposed to listen to this guy?
Oh, I like that take a lot. I
think he's too skinny.
Yeah, it's kind of like
no muscles.
Don't trust a man with no vice, right? Like he clearly doesn't have a vice other than being a really bad football coach. But like, I like that. I think that goes more into line with like he doesn't work enough hours. Like he's not eating McDonald's.
Yeah, he's not sleep deprived. He needs to be sleep deprived. He needs to be eating really unhealthy. He's clearly eating too healthy. He needs to be working out. He's not working out. Like, pick a lane, though. Yeah. Like Sean McVay. He's obsessed, but he's working out a ton and sleeping 3 hours. When Rich Rod was in Tucson, I was around the program. That dude was on the stair step every morning for an hour at speed 20, the max. And if a guy got in trouble on the team, they had to go work out with Coach Rod in the morning. You try, none of us could even come close to doing 20 on the stair step for 60 minutes straight. Rich Rod was doing that. John, 2-1. I was talking to him today. I was wondering if Rich Rod had come back to Tucson, if he would get back in good shape. Like, does the desert do something to him? And he's like, dude, I remember visiting you in the summer when you were helping. And I came in and you were giving me a tour of the facility and we went out to the field and there was a guy running stadiums. And I was like, who is that? 6-pack. Tan, glistening in the sun. It was Rodriguez, man. That dude was in shape at U of A. Like, but what did he do when he got out of shape and he left? He got fat.
And he won conference championships.
Yeah.
Dude, should we have just never fired Rod?
Correct. That is 100% where we messed up. And here's a hot take. You're going to hate this question. Should we have fired Sean Miller?
Bro. Yeah. So, I 100% believe we should have fired Sean Miller. Here's why. I actually had this conversation with 2-1 recently. For all our listeners, me and our father, I think we do have conversations outside of Arizona, but like it's rare. Just
Very.
If you haven't gotten that kind of feeling already. So what is the goal of if you give a shit, if you're a university that gives a shit about sports, which I would say Arizona does, what is the goal, especially if you're a basketball school, of the basketball program?
So if you're
What's the goal? What's the expectation at Arizona?
Win a lot.
Final Four.
Yeah.
No, it's Final Four.
It's Final Four.
Final Four.
So you're telling me if that's the expectation, why should we have kept Sean Miller? Like he had every football and basketball are different. If you're saying Jed is the same as Sean, that's fine. But
no, we're saying Rod, not Jed.
Or excuse me, Rod. That's what I meant. That's what it.
Okay.
So the difference with football, and this is the difference with basketball, is that there's two sides of the ball. Rod could have struck gold every 3 years with the right defensive scheme because he can always score 50 points.
Fair. Agreed.
Right? Sean Miller can always hold a team to a certain amount of points.
True.
Like that, the pack line defense, whatever you want to call it. When you have 5 stars out there and our 3 guard is 6'11" with the 7'2" wingspan, who's now winning, championships with the Nuggets, like as a freshman. What my point is that like Sean was too stubborn to ever get over that hump because he refused to like change how he did things, where Rod was always on one side of the ball and he was always good at that. And he also could build a culture around the program. He was kind of.
But I think that's the same thing.
But like Sean was always running the same fucking set play to start every game.
Rich Rod was running, but it worked.
Basketball are different, bro. Yeah, no, it didn't work. The first play
worked. It worked to an extent.
But he never got there, and he had fucking 30 draft picks in like a decade.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm playing devil's advocate because they're saying Rod didn't change anything. He's stubborn. He's still running a very, the RPO kind of thing he invented or whatever. But it got you to a certain point. You maxed out at 8-9 wins. You're right. Football and basketball are different. There's a lot more luck involved in basketball.
Yeah.
Sean was at the doorstep 3 times in a 6-year period. 5-year. 3 times.
Yeah, but the difference is now. Well, and the difference, football versus basketball school, different expectations, I will say. And whether I'm right or wrong for that, I have different expectations. In this day and age, Rod would be perfect for Arizona because I think every 4 years he would have a legitimate shot at making the 12-team playoff, which would be the goal for Arizona football. If the goal for Arizona football is to make the playoff every decade, Rod is the guy because he would stay there. If the goal is to make the Final Four twice in a decade, because that's, in my opinion, the expectation and should be for Arizona basketball, Sean is not the guy. So if the question is we said we shouldn't have fired Rod, and you said, okay, well, should we have fired Sean? I think they're different. I would kill for Rod longevity.
The expectations are different is what you're saying. Because I think they're the same type. They are cut from the same cloth. Old school, stubborn. They find ways to win. They live, eat, breathe the sport that they coach. Should we have ever gotten rid of Rod? No. Getting rid of Sean was probably the right move, but I had to ask because we don't need to get too far down the rabbit hole of our basketball team, but we don't look great.
Well, so part of the convo with 2-1 is that I was like, I think it's after this year, if we have a similar result, it's time to get rid of Tommy. And it was for similar reasons where he has these hurdles that he is unable to get over that will never allow him to be a consistent Final Four guy, which is what we expect from the Lute days, even though we know that's kind of unrealistic because we haven't made a Final Four since 2001. But like that is the expectation of Arizona basketball.
Okay, let me ask you this. You just said Lute. if we do end up firing Tommy in the next 2 years, do you want a Luke guy?
No.
12 months ago, would you have wanted a Luke guy?
No.
Okay. I would have. I want Miles Simon. But is Miles Simon the Brent Brennan of basketball?
Yeah, I don't want Miles Simon.
I want Miles Simon.
No. That's
Dude, he's
Brent
hanging
Brennan.
out.
That's Brent Brennan. With way more experience, it would probably work, but I wouldn't want it.
It would probably work. We'd get LeBron's kid. That's for sure.
Yeah,
We
we build a program with all ex-Laker kids because of just he was there 15 years. You could fill a program with one or two of those, probably like eight years out of 10 over the next 20 years.
True. All right, this has been enough of deliberating on Arizona. I want to go back to this past weekend. Was there any good games in the conference championship that you just loved that you got to talk about?
I was in New York and not watching much ball. We were touring.
That's
around.
not a CBK move.
So
did you go to a game?
No.
Like we talked about?
Dude, I was pretty adamant maybe or pushy about trying to go to a Knicks game, and that got shot down probably about 25 times. But I probably brought it up 25 times. Yeah. But I know I wanted to go a game. We just walked around. But
that's all right.
I did,
so you didn't watch any games, is what you're telling me.
Not really. I did have a couple games pulled up at dinner Saturday night at a restaurant in New York that was pretty nice. No TVs though. Classic kind of steakhousey vibe. But I did have the phone on the table.
Got it. All right. So I'll answer this. First of all, it pains me to say that school up north in Arizona is pretty freaking good. They pummeled Iowa State. I mean, it was like they were playing Arizona again. They pummeled them. I am excited to watch them. I will be secretly, between us and the other 5 people listening to this podcast, I'll be secretly pulling for them a little bit in the playoff. Can't lie. I love that ACC championship. I think SMU absolutely deserved that they should be in. That was an awesome game. They played a terrible first half of football, and they came roaring back to keep it close. So I'm glad they made the playoff. Georgia and Texas was a snooze fest. Oregon is a wagon. They can do whatever they want. It seems like it's like they didn't even really try all that hard. They dropped 45. Their defense didn't even come to play, but it was very impressive.
It was casual.
Very casual. It was a very casual Big Ten championship win.
Yeah.
And then Boise State was a lot of fun to watch. Genty is electric. Like he is must-watch television. So it was a lot of fun. And I am looking forward to the bracket. Do you want to talk about your bracket?
Sure, we can. I did watch some of the ASU game, School of North game. I did watch some of that. That was they're so well coached. It's frustrating, but I know we talked about this maybe a couple weeks ago. I hope to God that we see an ASU Oregon matchup for a multitude of reasons as West Coast guys. The Pac-12 Final 8 matchup would be amazing. And then also ASU always weirdly played Oregon well, and I would just love to see that game.
So do you have Arizona State beating Texas?
I do.
Ooh.
Cole, can you show the bracket so we can have, if you can pull it up? I do. What are your thoughts?
I think, well, I have a lot of thoughts. Do you want me to tell you who I think is going to win it?
Yeah. Do you want to go round by round or just go straight to the end?
Let's go round by round when it's pulled up.
Bro, just real quick. Think about how epic it is, though. The games we have.
Boom.
Two Saturdays from now. We get Clemson, Texas, Tennessee, Ohio State, SMU, Penn State, Indiana, and Notre Dame.
Dude.
I love
Indiana Notre Dame's on Friday, I believe, and then the rest
That
of
was
the
going
three
to
on
be
that
so
Saturday.
good.
Cole, when do you get into Phoenix for the holidays?
The 22nd.
Is that Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll be in town the 21st for that first round 7. You know, we best be watching.
I kind of want to see what the flight change cost would be for Cole to fly in on the 21st. We'll talk about that offline. Depending on the number, I will cover because the CBK boys watching some games together for the first time this year would be a
live stream. First ever live stream.
Second.
Go crazy.
All right, we'll talk about that offline. But no, we will definitely be watching and gambling. I got a couple picks there next week for us.
I'm gonna cash out some Bitcoin for this.
So you have Texas over Clemson. Sick, bro.
I have Texas over Clemson. Yeah. What about you?
I do.
Okay.
Same.
What about Tennessee, Ohio State?
Ohio State.
Me too. SMU, Penn State?
Penn State by 1 billion.
Same. Indiana, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame by 500.
Okay, so you're correct. I do have Indiana just because this podcast has been addicted to Indiana this year, so I picked them in my bracket.
So I thought about that. I gambled on Indiana a lot this year. I watched a lot of their games. They didn't play anyone good. The only team they played good was Ohio State, and Ohio State murdered. I think it's gonna be the
all
same.
right. Here's my hope. Signetti has been in a playoff like this before because he's coming from D1AA. He knows what this is like. It's in Indiana. It's gonna be snowy. I think it's gonna be a weird, cold game. Notre Dame played anyone recently? Since A&M, have they played anyone?
USC beat LSU, who was knocking on the door 3 weeks.
Dude, USC has the talent to go win a Super Bowl, and they don't know how to score or to stop anyone.
Bro,
so
we should have a whole episode dedicated to Lincoln Riley versus Brent Brennan because that motherfucker is worthless.
Skinny too.
He is skinny.
Holy shit.
Dude, you can't be skinny as a football coach in football. Or football coach in football. As a head football coach. You can't. High comment there. My bad, boys. You can't be skinny. Anti-skinny podcast here.
They did beat the shit out of Army, who was knocking on the door. But if Army and Indiana played, what would be the score?
Indiana by 35.
Okay. I kind of agree. So maybe I'm meeting you a little bit.
Hey, what's the spread on that game? The spread, according to ESPN bets, is 7.5 Notre Dame. -7. I gotta take a tutty for Indiana, right?
I think just because it's like an Indiana, it's like a state of the Indiana game. You know?
It's gonna be close.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have Indiana now.
Does fit with Notre Dame never having to leave the state of Indiana ever.
Yeah.
Games.
Very on brand.
Yeah.
All right. In that quarterfinal matchup, Texas, Arizona State. You said you have Arizona State?
Yeah, that was just what I want to see. I don't actually believe that. Texas is weird to me. I don't know. I can't figure them out.
Okay. I'm going to tee up my storyline here. Texas beats Arizona State, but it's very close.
I could see that.
Ohio State, Oregon, rematch of the game of the year.
Yeah, agreed. Here's my thing. I was thinking about Scattaboo the other day because this is what I think about in my free time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that play against Iowa State? It was either late in the first quarter or early in the second when he got met at the line of scrimmage, kind of bounced outside on the goal line on a trick or on a stretch or pitch or option play, whatever, and he threw the ball
Yeah, in the Big 12 title game. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Couldn't you see Texas like stretching out a lot of plays like that? Like, what happens if he gets met at the line of scrimmage? I just don't know if they're ready for that. So I'm kind of talking myself out of ASU. I just kind of think that Texas is going to like
the secret weapon.
Shut that down.
The secret weapon for ASU isn't Scatterboo. It is Levitt's legs.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of a college Bo Nix.
Yeah, that's a good call. Nobody ever has a spy on him. They always run deep routes. He throws a good ball, but when he's not open, he's going to go get 15. When nobody's open,
he's a really good runner.
He's a very good runner. He's fast. Like, it's not like, he's crafty. He's really fast.
Yeah.
So I think that game's going to be close.
I'm addicted to wanting to see Oregon ASU for some reason.
I know you are. You've brought that up, and I know exactly where you're coming from.
Honestly,
it is a rematch of Dilly versus old coach, right? He coached under. And you're right. The desert schools, Arizona included, always play Oregon well.
It's so weird, but they always do. They always do, and I want to see it. And I wish freaking Tyson or whatever that kid's name for ASU wasn't hurt. I hate that I'm even rooting for them, but as a conference guy, I will secretly be – I don't want them to win it all, but if they could make the national championship game, that would be insane. I'll never not say I don't like Kenny Dillingham. Like, he rocks. I wish he was our coach.
I know. I mean, I'm with you. I am so with you. All right, what about that second game? Ohio State, Oregon, a rematch.
I have Oregon winning again.
That would be in the Rose Bowl, right?
Yeah, which is amazing.
Oh.
Honestly, Tennessee, Oregon in the Rose Bowl would be equally as epic. I think Ohio State, Oregon has a little bit more, obviously, like history to it, but
yeah, no, the Oregon game, the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee plays at the Rose Bowl against Oregon.
Yeah,
advantage Oregon though.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
advantage Oregon.
Only time I went to a Rose Bowl, I was there as a Duck fan, and those fans rock.
They know what they're doing. That's for sure.
Have I ever told you that story?
You've told me.
Oh, that's what
told the people.
I was 19. Our defensive coordinator that I was working for was like, "Do you want to go to the game?" It was New Year's Day. Called me for like 15 minutes. Had been out 3 hours before he was calling me because we had to get on the road early. Wake up, put on clothes, run in there. He's like 4-year-old kids with us. I'm just still enjoying last night's festivities. Drive up. I fall asleep in the car, I think, on the 2-hour drive from San Diego to the Rose Bowl. And then during the game, towards the end of the game, a Florida State fan stole the sign from my buddy's 4-year-old kid. And I chased the guy down 3 sections over, took the sign back, and then had to get pulled away because it was this college kid who if you steal a sign from a 4-year-old,
yeah, you're dead.
You're dead.
Dead.
I was seeing red. I've been drinking all day. It was a rollover minutes. Shout out 3. And we just kept it going. And you don't steal a sign from a toddler.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That was the first college football playoff game ever, Mariota versus Winston.
Ooh.
I'm just glad that the Rose Bowl in the first year, the college football playoff in the first year, the Power 4 is still going to be a Big Ten versus a Pac-12 school. So that makes me happy. What about that next game, Penn State, Boise State?
I want to hear your thoughts first.
So in the last game, I have Oregon, obviously. In the Boise State, Penn State game, I have the Penn State Nittany Lions. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be low scoring. I think Penn State's just going to be a little bit too much for them. They're going to try to shut down Genty. They'll put 8 in the box. I am tempted to bet on Boise State, though, solely because it'll be the Fiesta Bowl. And we all know what happened at the Fiesta Bowl, Boise State.
What year was that?
15, 20 years ago, maybe 18 years ago, 2007, something like that. So that's my hesitation, but I am going to go with Penn State.
Bro, do you remember we used to have those iPod Nanos? The screens were like
of course I do.
Like this big. And we had that game. We bought that game, Oklahoma Boise State, on our iTunes account and would watch it on the 1 inch by 1 inch nano screen in class. At least I did. I've watched that game probably like 250 times in my life, like the full game. I had the full game on. I would watch it in class all day long.
I could have told you how the entire fourth quarter went in like 8th grade. I could have told you every play that happened in that fourth quarter. Easily.
I love that's a great call on that. I think Penn State's going to win by like 21. I think they're going to kind of take it to Boise. Penn State has the easiest path, in my opinion. What about the last matchup? So we have you have Indiana, Georgia, right?
Wait,
yeah. Go ahead.
Boise State lost to Oregon by 3.
Doesn't matter.
You don't think so?
That's all we've been hearing. I don't think it matters.
I do think that was a different Oregon team as well. So I'm just devil's advocate. Like,
there's no familiarity with Oregon and Boise State from a roster standpoint and a program standpoint.
Yeah.
That shit in college football matters. Like Penn State and Boise State probably have never played before.
Yeah.
And Boise State is going to come in, whether or not they're the 3 seed versus 6 seed, I think with a little puckered. And I think like they only got to blitz 4. And when they blitz 7, they're going to be forced to throw. And then they're going to run the ball 70 times and force. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
I agree.
I hope I'm wrong too. I think that Boise team is really cohesive. I think if they were smart, I mean, they have 2 weeks to prepare, right, for either team. They're going to be able to scout. They're going to be able to do some creative stuff. And I hope they give a call to Chris Peterson.
Why not?
I'm helping out.
Yeah, if Nick Saban can have an office at Alabama and still be a commentator, why can't Peterson be the same for Boise?
Chris Peterson's a commentator for Fox. Yeah, he should do the same thing.
Yeah, Saban with me, by the way, but keep going.
That last quarterfinal game, I have Indiana, Georgia. You have Notre Dame, Georgia. Do we both agree Georgia comes out of it?
Yes.
Yeah. I think Georgia kills both of those teams.
Yeah. We've seen it.
Yeah.
The spread will be 7 and Georgia will win by 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I also think Georgia gets better with their backup quarterback.
So I disagree with that. Why do you think that?
Because when nothing's there, similar to Levitt, he runs and he can get positive yards. Beck holds the ball. His receivers aren't that good. So he's always throwing the ball. Even if he throws a dime, his receivers, they lead the country in drops. So if you take some of those drops out and you get 5 yards and you burn the clock, I think they're better. And then their run game opens up more. I think they're just better. I don't think Carson Beck's great. I think Carson Beck will be a better pro than a college player.
But here's my thing. I felt like with that backup quarterback for Georgia, he had that one really good drive, led him for a touchdown the first drive, and then they shut him down. He didn't have the running out lanes. He didn't hit anybody. And when he did try to run, he almost literally died. Literally almost died.
Yeah.
I don't think they're better. I think they're limited on offense, like to your point about their wide receivers. And then, like, I think both quarterbacks are limited.
I think there's a weird thing in college football they'll get a spark because I don't think everyone on that offense loved Carson Beck.
So that's a great segue. To that next semifinal game, though, at the top, Texas-Oregon, I think Arch Manning starts that game against Oregon and Texas wins.
I could see that. I have ASU Oregon, so it's a different combo, but
I think that Texas is going to win a close game against Arizona State, and they're going to be really nervous about going to play Oregon, and they're going to need a spark. They're going to need a Tua Tagovailoa. They're going to need somebody to come in a playoff run to give them a spark, and it's going to be Arch Manning. The biggest reason why the Georgia-Texas game wasn't close, in my opinion, was that Texas didn't put in Arch Manning. That kid is way better than Quinn Ewers. Way better. And every time he goes in, he gets first down. He's a big dude. He can run. He can throw dimes. And it's not like
you have Texas winning it all, don't you?
I do. With Arch Manning.
Fuck, I could see that, dude.
with Arch Manning leading them to the title.
Next year's
ESPN,
NCAA football, though, it would be fire because that would be the road to glory. You start as a backup, do it all on Arch Manning. Yeah, no, I could 100% see that, and now I'm picturing it. So.
That's the storyline I'm pushing, and I'm betting on.
All right. I think Oregon is the only team I've watched all year that reminds me of those dominant Bama Georgia teams from like 8 years ago.
But it's still Oregon.
So that is a point that our friend Mr. Barton 81 brought up. He said he's bet on them too many times. He's done trusting Oregon because it's still Oregon. It's a great point. Do you think Dan Lanning changes anything, or is it just the university?
So I think Dan Lanning absolutely changes it, though. But he is still so sporadic sometimes and calls some really wild stuff, which I love. Like, I think Dan Lanning and Dan Campbell are cut from the same cloth, and both of them are right on the cusp of doing something great. But they got to prove it to me before I'm going to bet on them.
Yeah. That's fair. So you believe in Sark?
I do.
You're putting your. All right.
I think Sark's a great coach.
Shout out Sark for that freaking one bullshit camera placement to put a hidden camera at the front of a bus pointed to just the head coach in the front. But that bro's cha. He obviously had pouches in. Dippers can know, but he was holding that spit up. That was like a mini throw up of just dip spit live on ESPN. Just hilarious timing.
So
just hilarious.
Sark also is the only head coach that I really have noticed, and maybe other guys do it, I don't know, but who like rocks out before a game with headphones in. Most other head coaches are headphones off, they're talking to people, whatever. Sark is like in a zone, enjoying his Cope wintergreen pouch, and just like he's acting like he's about to go play, like it's the 90s again, and he's playing for BYU.
He's like, I want organic so bad right now.
He's like, the best part is that he went to that. No one believes he stopped drinking, right?
There's no way he stopped boozing. He stopped the pills. Obviously, he wouldn't be coaching. He was a pill guy. Pill guy.
Was he a pill guy?
My sources told me so.
Okay, I trust your sources.
I can't divulge sources, but yeah, I think he was like an oxy guy.
Yeah. Well, so great drug. So
fire.
I have Texas winning it all. Just to quickly go through that, I then have Penn State beating Georgia because I think they're limited on offense. I think Penn State's defense will hold them down. I have Penn State, Texas, and I have Texas winning it all with Arch Manning at QB. What about you? What say you?
Wow, we have a completely different final game. That rocks. I have Oregon, Georgia.
Okay, 1 versus 2. So original.
I think your argument for Arch Manning is what I'm giving to Georgia, so it's really not that different. I think Georgia gets better with their backup.
Yeah, but I got a Manning tied to it.
No, if you want me to like tell you you're better, yes, yours is better. But I don't know. I have Oregon winning it all though, so I don't feel great about that. But I just think that they're better than everyone. I do hate the fact that they're Oregon though, and they might Oregon. So
yeah,
who knows?
Cole, who's your winner?
Oregon as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be wild in the first college football playoff where every team, there was only one undefeated team, they stay undefeated. I think they're that much better than everyone else, though.
It's hard to go undefeated. What, 16-0?
Yeah.
15-0?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And if Oregon does win it all, they might go on our next sponsor, Vine, and post a 6 seconds of greatness. That's what my wife tells me. And, it's the same thing that Vine says to their customers. Download today, like, subscribe to the pod, and download Vine. Great partners to us here at the CBK Podcast. Appreciate you guys.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Vine, for all that you do for us. Segueing here, wrapping up. Scott's of the week. What do we got?
I mean, my dead Larry Scott is Arizona. because we've just continued to get worse.
Yep. Mine is UNLV because they lost their conference championship game and then proceeded to lose their whole coaching staff to Purdue, Barry Odom.
Is Purdue better than UNLV from a coaching staff? Like,
dude, I was wondering. I mean, the money's better, right? So I guess. But where do you recruit? You're going to go be bottom half of the Big Ten. Like, I don't get that.
Like, if you're a 4-star or better, and you're open to going to the state of Indiana to play football, you ain't going to Purdue.
True.
There's one school there that
now two. Come on.
Yeah, but he's going to leave in the next 3 years. He's going to
Cignetti?
Yeah, I think so.
He just signed. Didn't he just sign a huge contract?
He just signed
what have we learned about contracts?
They're binding forever in blood.
Yeah, in college football, they mean nothing.
I don't think he wants to leave. Why would he want to leave? I know we always debate this, and these coaches are so dumb, but I'd still like to think that there's some guys out there that get it. Scott Frost said it this past week. Sometimes when you're on the climb, you need to just stop at where you're happy.
Yeah. No, that
why
was
Cignetti in his mid-50s, mid-60s? Why would he leave? He's not an NFL-style coach. The Michigan job ain't opening it up. I don't know. Like, he doesn't want – like, he's talked a lot of crap about being a small fish. He likes that underdog mentality. I don't think he's going anywhere. Anyway, I don't know how we got on that. UNLV is dead, though. I kind of agree with you. They're moving to the Pac-12, I believe, next year. So, not that that's a power conference, but, like, go live in Vegas, coach some football, recruit California, Arizona, Nevada.
Launder money, dude.
Launder money?
Through NIL.
Yeah. So that's my team is dead because I think their relevance. And this was a little bit of a tie to our podcast because this was a pro UNLV podcast all year. So we really enjoyed that.
I feel bad for him. It makes no sense to me, that move. So I don't get it. But school up north, second week in a row for me. They're legit.
Are you getting your NBA there or something? You're really just jumping on the ASU bandwagon. What's up with that?
When I watch them play, it shows me that it's doable. And
there's hope. You get hope.
I'm trying to stay positive. All Scadaboo's the Scooby of running backs.
It's true.
That's all he is.
It's true. My team is fun as SMU. They're really fun. That quarterback is electric. And he's obviously got the physical abilities, but watching him, man, he after a big play, he's run up the line of scrimmage. There's an energy about him that I just really like. I'm forgetting his name. Apologies to him. I know he's listening probably. But that kid's electric. And then it looks like both of our team, Travis Scott teams are the same. Oregon's a wagon.
Yeah. Sure are.
So those are the Scots of the week.
Right on. Well, Army, Navy, Brothers of the Week. We could talk about the Brothers of the Week real quick. Sponsored by Pier 1 Imports. So pure, even your mother-in-law won't give you shit about it. Shout out Pier 1 Imports. Freshen up that house for this holiday season. And make sure when your mother-in-law comes visit, she doesn't give you shit about it. So.
Cole, you shop at Pier 1 a lot, right?
Yeah.
You've never even been to a Pier 1 Imports?
Heard of Pier 1?
Maybe once when I was like 5 because my mom loved it.
Have you heard of it?
I have. Yeah.
Okay. They're a sponsor, so you better start shopping there.
Yeah,
they're
I will. On me. I will.
Use the code CBK10 for 10% off your next purchase at Pier 1. So, Bros of the Week, who do you got? You got any bros that just come to mind that you just want to shout out?
Yeah, I mean, we joked about the importance of a coach to holding bros together, but shout out all the bros that stuck together at U of A and are all going to transfer now to different schools. Kind of speaks to the fact that even bros, sometimes if the dad's bad, sometimes you got to go to different houses, So, shout out the bros for staying loyal forever, but also understanding that it was their time to move on from the University of Arizona and Brent Brennan as bad father.
And I think that what we'll find is a lot of those guys are going to end up in the same homes, whether that's in Seattle, Washington, or in Austin, Texas.
But you can't keep them all together, right? So it's kind of like different aunts and uncles.
It's like a foster home where everyone was brothers, but then like they plucked pears, M&M packs, Skittle packs.
Yeah.
Shout
out those bros. I don't blame you.
Bros. I want to wrap with a good crazy tweet I just saw. It says Marshall head coach Charles Huff took the head coaching position at Southern Miss, which has caused the entire Marshall football team to consider entering the transfer portal. So shout out to those bros for sticking together. And then the first comment says it wouldn't be the first time Marshall lost their entire team, which I think is just
the internet, man.
Oh, man.
Wild.
Wild.
Oh.
So shout out to the bros at Marshall for just keeping the tradition alive down there in West Virginia, sticking together and going out together.
It's funny as shit. God damn. That's so funny. The internet, man. Shout out the internet.
I think we just leave it there and wrap.
Yeah. I mean, walk of the week, Army over Navy. We're always in a pro Army house here in the Snyder CBK house. So,
yep. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Snyder. Wow. Almost said Schneider. Wild. Weird. But that is our grandfather, RIP, Lieutenant Colonel, served for decades, U.S. Armed Forces. Army over Navy all day, baby.
All right. We love you. Thanks for listening.
We love everyone. This for 7, for 8-7, and your boy Niner. Have a great rest of your week. We love y'all. Peace.